medicine. Again, let thy food be thy medicine. All right? Now, one of the things that I really truly admire about the Most High is that he's made the things that are supposed to be food, fruits, vegetables, things that come from the earth, he's made it such that these things can heal you. These things can heal you. These things can prevent things from occurring in your body. And it's just so amazing that the Most High made it such that whatever you eat or whatever is meant for food, that thing can absolutely heal you. All praises. So let's get the first precept. Be sure to write these down. All right. Who's the best doctor? The Most High is the best doctor. All right. He created your body. Genesis 1:29. He created the human body. He knows exactly what the body needs when it needs it. Genesis 1:29.
Reading from the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 29. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
To you it shall be for meat, food. So the Most High created these foods, trees, herb-bearing seed, so that it can be for consumption. Now, I know that's going to upset a lot of the weed smokers out there because, they don't like to hear that thing. They like to hear that, the herb is for smoking and the herb is for putting it in a calabash or a bong or, and getting blazed and getting high. That's not what it's for. The Most High said it's going to be for meat. It's going to be for food. You understand that? All praises. To you it shall be for meat. Meat. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 104 and verse 14. Psalms 104, verse 14.
Reading from the book of Psalms, chapter 104, verse 14. He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, and herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth out of the earth. He may bring forth food out of the earth.
That he may bring forth food out of the earth. Now, notice how it says he causes the grass to grow for the cattle, but now the herb for the service of man. The herb for the service of man. But now people may say, well, the service of man is so that you could smoke it. And no. There's a colon after that. Okay? The colon says the service of man that is supposed to be used for. It says for what? Read it again.
For food out of the earth.
For food out of the earth. So when it comes to the herb being for the service of man, 100% absolutely. We do not negate that. We do not, come against the fact that herbs were made for the service of man. But it was not made. Just put the basket on it. Just put the basket so that it stops it from. Just put the basket on it. The herb for the service of man was only for food. You understand that, Soldier Gabar? Food and medicine. And here's the thing. Food and medicine, when it comes to the Bible, are synonymous. Your food's supposed to be your medicine. And your medicine's supposed to be your food. You understand that? All praises. Ezekiel 47 and verse 12. So write down these precepts. Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 12.
Reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 47 and verse 12. And by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat.
All trees for meat. When you see that word meat, there's going into food. Trees for meat. It's not talking about meat that you eat like lamb and cow. It's meat in the old antiquity word. The old ancient word is going into food. Food. Read on.
Whose leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. He shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary, And the fruit thereof shall be for meat.
Watch this. He says, see that? He's breaking it down for you now. The fruit shall be for meat. The thing that grows on the trees shall be for meat, for your food, for your consumption. Read on.
And the leaf thereof for medicine.
And the leaf for medicine. Now let me tell you something. A lot of the Edomites went into this book and they realized what these precepts say according to how the leaves are supposed to be used for the medicine. And they go into the Amazon jungle, they go into different jungles and they try to extract these different properties from the leaves. And they try to go back and market it in the pharmaceutical companies, right? But the thing is, they're not giving you the full benefits of where they extract this thing from. They're injecting chemicals also with it. You catch the point? So they know, according to the Bible, the leaves are for medicine. They know that. But what they don't want you to know is that they go on scavenger hunts all around the world looking for the best cures. All right? And they sell it back on the pharmaceutical markets. Now let me say this. The pharmaceutical industry is a $10 trillion industry. And what I mean by that is these industries go hand in hand with each other, like the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, the World Health Organization. You would see all of them are in cahoots together. You may think that the World Health Organization and the pharmaceutical industry, they're there for your benefit, but absolutely it has become corrupt. And doctors are not doing this thing for the love of actually curing people anymore. They're doing it for a paycheck. They're doing it for financial reasons. All right? And this thing is so far gone now that these billionaires have to maintain their yachts and their mega mansions at your detriment. So if it means having you hooked on pharmaceutical drugs week after week after week, they don't care, right? That's where you got to come back to the essence. You got to come back to the original thing of what God intended for to be your medicine, the leaves of the tree. But you got to, as we go through the scriptures, you're going to see, you got to have that knowledge to know which tree to go for what. You can't just go out there picking trees like crazy Susan. If you go, you might get poisoned if you do that, right? So you have to have knowledge. But this next precept we're going into, I can't count on my fingers the amount of times, right, Colonel? People come into this truth and they don't have an understanding of what is lawful to eat and what is not. Most people, when they hear us bringing out the truth and we start going into certain things you cannot eat, they say, oh, you're not supposed to eat meat at all? You're supposed to be a vegetarian? The Lord never said that. He said there are lawful meats you can eat and there's unlawful meats you can eat. Sorry, that you're not supposed to eat. Mistake. So let's go to Leviticus 11 and verse 1 so we can see what the Lord said you can eat. Go ahead.
Reading from the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, verse 1.
The law. The law always sets everything straight.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, verse 2.
Go ahead.
Speak unto the children of Israel, saying,
to the Israelites, saying what?
These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth.
So all the beasts on the face of the earth, they're beasts you can eat. Can. So for those who think this truth is about, oh, so I gotta be a vegetarian. No, the scriptures never said that. Now, while I do agree, today in 2025, the meat industry has become over-processed, where to the point where they're injecting harmful chemicals into the meat production because they need it to grow faster, more production, more bulkier, more weightier, because the Edomites have saturated the meat industry to the point where it's all about what now? So they have to have a fast turnaround time. So they can't wait 9 months for a chicken to hatch now, right? They need that thing in 2 weeks. So they're going to inject it with chemicals to make it grow. But back in antiquity, we grew things naturally. The lawful meats that were prescribed for us, those things didn't have any chemicals inside of them. And thus people lived longer. It wasn't bad for you to eat the meats that prescribed in the Bible. Should you eat them with a balance, of course, because we're going to go into some stuff right now. So give me verse 3. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Whatsoever parted the hoof and is cloven-footed and chewed the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat.
So there's a separation down the middle. Whatever parted the hoof and is cloven. Now, if you have a look at the animal, you see different animals have different types of what? Paws and feet. Some have hooves. Some of the hooves are split. Some don't. Some have just a round hoof. The Most High made a distinction or a difference, because some animals have what you call a double stomach system, where the second stomach can filter out the toxins. And it's showing you here whatever part that the hoof, right, and is cloven, two things, cloven-footed and part the hoof, and it chews the cud. It says those are the animals you can eat. Those are the animals he created with a filtration system, so that if you eat it, you're not eating, if let's say it eats bad things or harmful things that's harmful to you, but it's not harmful to it. It can filter out those things so it's not affected by the meat when you eat it. You catch the point? The other animals, that's as we're going to see, give me verse 4.
Verse 4.
Watch this.
Nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them that chew the cud.
So there's some animals that do chew the cud that God said do not eat. Watch this.
Or them that divided the hoof.
Or some that divide the hoof. Watch this.
As the camel.
As the camel. The camel doesn't have that filtration system inside its stomach. Read on.
Because he chewed the cud, but divided not the hoof.
But he doesn't divide the hoof. Come on.
He is unclean unto you.
He's unclean to you. So you can't be like, listen, man, we're going to have some camel fritters this evening. You can't do that. So to the Israelites living over in Arabia and those places, no, you cannot eat camel. All right? Give me verse 5.
Verse 5. And the coney, because he chewed the cud, but divided not the hoof, he is unclean unto you.
He's unclean to you. Who know what a coney is? A coney. Does anyone know what a coney is? No. It's a type of hare. H-A-R-E. You know what a hare is? Like a rabbit, right? It's a subspecies of the rabbit, right? If you go on Google Images and you type for coney, right? Now there's two types. There's the one that look kind of cute, and there's the one it looks straight up like a rat. I don't know if y'all can see that. Right. Looks straight up like a marsupial or a rat or a rodent, right? And there's absolutely other nations who would, this is a delicacy to them. They would put some hot sauce or some soy sauce on this and do down some veggies and some rice, and this is on tonight's menu. They will eat this. But as for you, the children of Israel, you cannot eat the coney. That is unclean to you. Read on.
Verse 6. And the hare.
The hare. So now we're going into the other subgenus species of that thing. Read on.
Because he chewed the cud, but divided not the hoof.
Now, a lot of people in the Caribbean, they eat rabbit. A lot of Guyanese. Those who watching the class, TOC Guyana right now, I know y'all love y'all some rabbit. I know that. But the Bible says you can't eat that no more. So no more jungle escapades talking about, you see that rabbit there, boy? But I gonna eat that thing there, boy. No. You will not eat the rabbit. Read on.
He is unclean unto you.
Bugs Bunny is unclean to you. Leave him alone. Okay? Boy, what keep talking about, boy? The man talking stupidness. Listen to me, Guyana brothers. God is saying you will not eat the rabbit. Read on.
Verse 7. And the swine, though he divided the hoof, and be cloven-footed.
And be cloven-footed. Watch this.
Yet he chewed not the cud.
Now, I know a lot of y'all came out of the world eating pork. Y'all love that thing to the max. Y'all love the ribs. Y'all love the pig foot. Y'all love the pig tail. I saw a video with this guy doing a mukbang, and this guy had a whole spread. Israelite brother, of course, unfortunately. The guy had a whole spread with a whole pig head on the table. And this guy had deep, slow roasted that thing. And the guy started eating the pig from the nose. Right? Took a chunk out of the nose, eat that thing. He was giving it to his wife to eat. He was like, you want some? She was like, mm-mm. He was like, nah, you're going to taste this. You're going to eat this. Brothers, sisters, I can't stress this enough. Pigs do not have sweat glands. Listen to me very closely, Brother Daniel. The Most High is the best scientist ever. Pigs were not created with sweat glands, therefore any toxins that emanate from inside of them, they cannot do what? Filter out the toxins. Now, some of the parasites in swine are like trichinosis, tapeworms, and various other parasites, and I can't mention this enough. When you do an autopsy on a pig eater, they always, before they prepare to embalm them, they have to pull out 20-foot long parasites in the form of tapeworms. They literally pull them out so long they fit on a pole, because they stay there and they feed and they feed and they feed for a lifetime, and they lay eggs. And the life cycle continues. When they lay eggs, they get more babies. These babies born, they feed on whatever you eat, and some of them reach up to the brain and they feed on the brain. So a lot of people are actually being controlled by parasites. You see, when somebody bugging out and acting weird and crazy, usually their diet consists of things that God says not to eat, because these things now cause parasitical, an environment that is conducive for parasitical activity. Who's heard of candida? You've heard of candida? Well, candida is that thing that in a low amount, it's in most people's bodies, but then it now exacerbates and gets more when you feed your body things that's not food substances, and it feeds on junk food. Y'all like junk food? Well, yeah, the candida feeds on it. And it's like a living organism inside the body as well. It needs a host. You're the host. And as you continue to eat these things that God said not to eat, it feeds and it feeds and it feeds. Now, it's amazing that scientists have discovered the only way to remove these parasites. Who could tell me? The only way, because there's certain detoxes you can do, but it does not kill the eggs. It kills the ones that are alive, but then you got some eggs about to hatch soon. They don't kill that. But God has given us something that kills eggs, adults, it disrupts the life cycle. Who could tell me what that thing is? You're supposed to eat it every year. Once a year, we eat that thing. What's that? Lamb? No. Say it loud on the mic.
Bitter herbs.
Bitter herbs. And it's amazing that the Lord requires this as a requirement, a commandment to eat that at Passover. Bitter herbs. That's the only thing that actually kills the eggs and the parasites, the adult and the babies. Right? And if some of y'all never ate the bitter the herb, the more bitter the herb, the more powerful it is to kill the parasites. But you have to let it be a natural regimen, consistent regimen. Otherwise, those parasites are going to just... Remember when you were not in the truth and all those things you ate? Some of those parasites still alive. That's why you get these urges and these, ooh, I feel like eating some garbage pizza, see? Yeah, it's not you. It's the parasites that's hungry. It's feeding on that. What verse you at? 7. So the swine, you're not supposed to eat the swine. Verse 8.
Verse 8. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you.
It's unclean to you. So no pig foot, no pig tail, no pig snout, no pig in general. All right, read on.
Verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that in the waters. Whatsoever had fins and scales in the water, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat.
So we're just reiterating, yes, you can eat meat in the truth. There's brothers who say, oh, you can't eat no meat. You can't eat no meat. The Lord says there's meat you can eat. Everybody understands that. But it says you're not going to eat anything in the waters that doesn't have what? Fins and scales. So that goes into your conchs. You cannot eat that. That goes into your whelks. You cannot eat that. That goes into your lobster, your shrimp, your crab, your mussels. What else they got out there? Your dolphin, your shark. What else they got? Octopus. You cannot eat that. Anything without fins and scales, you cannot and you should not eat that. All right? Good. I know some people that's like a Debbie Downer for, oh man, the scriptures say that. Yeah, scriptures do say that. No, you got to stop. Well, maybe if I find, a cross between an octopus that I can't eat, there's no octopus that you can't. Well, Cap, they ain't gonna octopus with like fins and maybe some scales. No, there's none. Well, I found one on Google, Cap. Look, zoom in on the picture. You see, this octopus got some fins. Look closely. Zoom no more, Cap. Now, zoom, Cap. Now, zoom. Sorry, brother. Sorry, sister. It does not have fins and scales. You cannot eat that thing. Should you eat it, the Lord going to jack you up. You were warned. All right, good. Now, a lot of people don't realize that Christ himself, he ate meat. How you debunk this whole story about, so we're supposed to be vegetarians, and you ask him this question, did Christ eat fish? Absolutely. Luke chapter 24, verse 36. Luke 24 and verse 36. I can't tell you how much brothers I heard say, nah, man, Christ ain't eat no meat. He was a vegetarian. Christ ate fish often. All right? As a matter of fact, some scholars suggest that was his favorite type of meat, fish. All right? Read that.
Reading from the book of Luke, chapter 24 and verse 36.
Come on.
And as they thus spake, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them, and said unto them, Peace be unto you.
Read on.
37. But they were terrified and affrighted, and supposed that they had seen a spirit. Verse 38. And he said unto them, Why are ye troubled? And why do thoughts arise in your hearts? 39. Behold my hand and my feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit had no flesh and bones, as ye see me have.
So they were surprised that it was actually Christ. He said, handle me, see, I am he. Look at my hands, look at my feet. I'm the one they crucified. Read on.
Verse 40. And when he had just spoken, he showed them his hands and his feet.
Read on.
41. And while they yet believed not for joy, and wondered, he said unto them.
What did he say unto them?
Have you here any meat?
Have you any what?
Any meat?
Christ is here asking for meat. So yes, Christ did eat meat. He desired meat. He wanted meat. He ate meat. Read on.
Verse 42. And they gave him a piece of boiled fish and of an honeycomb.
Read on.
And he took it and did eat before them.
No, Christ didn't eat no meat. He took it and he ate it right before them. You understand that? So now, I do understand that, yes, the food industry today, especially when it comes to the meat industry, especially even when it comes to fish. Now, for those of you that like eating fish, I do understand it's somewhat of a safer option, yes, but, however, they have infiltrated that industry as well. What do I mean by that? You may hear this term, farm-raised fish. Who's heard that? farm-raised tilapia, farm-raised salmon. The term farm-raised does not suggest that it's good. The term farm-raised suggests that it's not good. Why? If you have a whole farm of fish and they're not able to be free in nature, they're literally a lot of times feeding on their own excrement and stuff like that. So a lot of the farm-raised fish are said to have issues with, what's the word I'm looking for? Not antibiotics. The things that okay, good. You could get infections. You need antibiotics for eating or consuming considerable amounts of farm-raised fish. You go to the nice restaurant or the store, you see that nice pink salmon, you say, man, that thing look good. That thing look amazing. You don't realize it was farm-raised, right? And they actually go as far, Soldier Gabar, to say, farm-raised fresh. A play on the mind that makes you think, farm-raised, that sounds legit. Farm-raised fresh, this is good. You don't realize what's happening. Farm-raised don't mean it's fresher or it's more organic. It just means these fish were literally in a captivity setting where they grow them, and a lot of times, often, they feed them with unnatural substances, Colonel, to make the fish grow faster, quicker, and reproduce faster. So the fish you're eating today, a lot of times is not natural. Can we trust the sources out there? You can't, because you're not going to go on the person's farm to see, well, let me see each step of how you raise these fish. You just got to have faith and keep these commandments and make the best choices you can make when it comes to food. For y'all health enthusiasts out there who saying, well, I only eat GMO. Well, they've infected that industry as well. That you only eat organic. Guess what? The organic seeds that they have today have also been infiltrated as well. So you really can't trust where it's coming from. Why? Because Esau has infiltrated everything. I heard one person saying, Colonel, boy, seem like we got to eat grass these days. It's not that you have to eat grass. You just have to make wise choices while you're in the truth and understand that you won't be able to 100% prevent yourself from eating something that has not been infiltrated by Esau. It comes with you being in captivity, and we're going to go through that. All right? Give me Proverbs 11 and verse 1. But this is the problem. This is usually the problem. Read that.
Reading from the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
So the problem usually is people don't have a good balance when it comes to the things that they eat. They gorge themselves on things that they should not eat. And they gorge themselves even on things that you can eat. Now, when it comes to things that you can eat, Soldier Gabar, you eat it and you don't overdo. So you have to have a good balance even when it comes to meats. We just read that there's meats you can eat in the scriptures, right? But the problem is if you eat too much of those meats, what do you think will happen to you? You're going to suffer. Absolutely. So the key to life, everyone, is having a good balance. Absolutely. Give me the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 9. Micah 2 and verse 9. All right, Micah is just before Nahum. All right. Micah chapter 2, verse 9.
Reading from the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 9. The woman of my people have ye cast out from their pleasant houses.
So this is the issue here. The prophet is being shown what's going on with our people. Our people have been cast out of their pleasant houses. What does that mean? Who could tell me what that means? We have been cast out of our pleasant houses. We are yet this day in our captivity. So you think in captivity? Listen, if you go over HMP right now in jail, for those of you that's watching right now, HMP is the local jail here. If you start going to jail wherever you live, can you wear your own clothes, eat the things that you're eating on the outside? You're going to eat whatever they give you. It's the same thing in captivity. You're relegated to eating whatever those who are controlling the industry gives you. You're not going to wear your own clothes, your own shoes. You don't get to go to sleep when you want to. They tell you when to go to sleep. You understand that? I don't know how some people decide Soldier Bar, prison is the place for them. Because when you go over there, it's like your life ain't even yours over there, right? So it says, the women of my people are cast out from their pleasant houses. Read on.
From their children have you taken away my glory forever.
Read on.
Verse 10. Arise ye and depart.
And depart.
For this is not your rest.
This is not your rest. Understand this, Israel. I know you're trying to eat the best, live the best, have the best of everything right now because you just found out you're an Israelite and you're keeping these commandments. But understand this. There's a certain level of uncomfortability you're going to have to endure while you're here in this captivity. There's a certain level of understanding that Esau controls the industry that feeds you, clothes you. It says in Deuteronomy 28, you're going to have to go to your oppressor for want of all things. Want of all things. That includes food, clothing, textiles, products. You're at their mercy. Whatever you need from the store, you go. That's what you have to get because that's all that's available unless you're going to make it yourself. And even if you make it yourself, Brother DeAndre, you're still subject to going to buy certain things that they control. So you're not in full control. Well, I'm going to go to the garden and plant it myself. You can, but you're still not in full control, Daniel. Because this is not your rest. The earth is polluted. The earth is defiled. Who did it? Mainly, chiefly Esau. The other nations to some extent, but mainly, chiefly Esau. It says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Malachi 1 and 3 shows you who is the border of wickedness. It's Esau. The one whom God will have indignation for forever. So you're going to be subject to this. You're going to be subject to going to the store, buying cereal for your 2-year-old, and realizing there's an advisory that comes out 3 months after. All those who bought this cereal for their children, it's a recall on it, and you may be subjected to money if your child is still alive. They're telling you this after your child already passed away. And you didn't even know why your child passed away. You just went to the hospital, child was not feeling good. And then you found out months after, oh, they did a recall on this thing. Just the other day, there was a recall on broccoli. Broccoli. Brother DeAndre, broccoli. And guess what the recall was stating? That all shelves must recall in about 13 states quickly because the recall is level 3 threat. You know what a level 3 threat is in the food industry? It means, should you consume that, it's fatal. You should not be worrying about if I'm going to die if I eat a piece of broccoli. But this is who controls the earth currently right now. How many of you ever noticed around Passover, there's always a recall on what? Who could tell me? Who could tell me? Who could tell me? Every year you're going to see it. Romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce and certain bitter herbs. I started to believe this has to be a conspiracy, Colonel, because every year around the same time, around spring, there's a recall on certain bitter herbs, including romaine lettuce. But, you know, there's only certain things we could control. So it says, this is not your rest. Come on.
Because it is polluted.
It is polluted. You're living in a polluted earth right now that Esau controls. So I know, and I've seen this over the years. Some people come into the truth and turn into some crazy health fanatics. where they make this truth about health related things. Health is a part of the truth, yes, but don't go so crazy and you get bugged out. Why? All of it is polluted. Why? No matter where you go Whole Foods, stuff there is polluted with GMO. You try to, even here in St. Kitts, Monsanto came down to distribute seeds back in 2015. So I don't even know. The seeds them that we have that's been growing fruit trees all over, I know those have been compromised as well. For those of you, research that. Monsanto coming to the Caribbean islands in 2015. They came here. They went to the Ministry of Agriculture. They distributed seeds. They said, oh, y'all low on seeds? Here, giving y'all seeds. But what Esau did not tell them was that these seeds were absolutely modified seeds. So they look like the real thing, smell like the real thing, taste like the real thing, but they're not the real thing. But, of course, they wouldn't market it. They say, well, these seeds, they're less prone to pests, less prone to, pests coming and eating them. They have like self-induced pesticide that pests stay away from them. And all people will absolutely be like, sounds amazing. Let me get 500 tons of those seeds. That's what Monsanto did back in 2015. Research it yourself. So, it's polluted. Read on.
It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
This captivity was not meant for you to, be all fully comfortable. Check. Fully comfortable. Why? Because your forefathers sinned and we're paying the price. But in our coming back to our nationality and our commandments, the Lord will give you some refreshing during this time. So you have to make right decisions, have a good balance, keep the commandments. I can't stress on that enough. Keep the commandments, and the Lord will give you enough grace to endure this captivity. So you will find, Soldier Gabar, we go to the store still, just like everybody else. We buy things from in the store, but you're not affected in the way that other people may be affected because you're doing something they're not doing. You're keeping the commandments while the other person is not. So the Lord gives you a little bit more longevity. Everyone gets the point? Good. Give me drop that. Ezekiel. Let's go to the book, the prophet Ezekiel, chapter 4 and verse 13. Ezekiel, chapter 4 and verse 13.
Reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4 and verse 13.
Come on.
And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles.
You're going to eat what?
Their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them.
Defiled bread literally means you're going to be subjected to eat whatever Esau produces for you. You're going to eat that. All right? Your food will be tainted. All right? It's part of the captivity. You can't get away from it, Soldier Gamaliel. You understand that? There's just a level of captivity that you won't be able to escape. You're going to eat defiled bread. All right? So, usually when you have brothers who just come into the truth, and you will see this, Brother DeAndre, as you go in the truth more. Brothers will come into the truth and start arguing with you over what you're eating, but what they're eating isn't actually better. It's just packaged better. But God said you will eat what? Defiled bread in your captivity. Now, I'm not saying just take that verse and be like, well, I'm going to just go eat anything. No, you still have to have a good balance, still make good decisions, still make the best decisions you can with the information that you do have. Research still. Look into things for yourself still. try to make the best decisions for you and your family still. Don't just be like, oh, well, God said defiled bread, so let me just eat anything and just gorge myself because we're all going to die anyway. No. That's being stupid. All right? That's being unwise. All right? So you're going to eat defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them. That's talking about you in this captivity. You're going to go in Best Buy. You're going to eat whatever Esau send down on the boat for you. You're going to name that. And you're going to be satisfied. As long as you're not eating what? Unclean foods. So you will be subjected to defiled foods. But do not eat unclean foods. Keep the law still. Where we at? Jump down to verse 15.
Ezekiel 4, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Then said he unto me, Lo, I have given thee cow's dung for man's dung, and thou shalt prepare thy bread therewith.
So Ezekiel in the vision, it's a vision that the Most High was giving him. And Ezekiel didn't like what the Most High was showing him with regard to the punishment that will happen to Israel. So he was kind of protesting, and the Most High said, oh, well, very well. All right, I'll give you cow dung instead of the human dung, and you could make your food with that. You could make your sandwich with that. You could make your bread with that. But in other words, God is saying what? You still have to face the punishment and the captivity. You will eat defiled bread among the Gentiles where I will drive you. All right, that was verse 15. All right, you're going to prepare your bread. And God, Soldier Gabar, understand the intensity of this. God is saying, you're going to eat a shiznit sandwich. Proverbially, of course. What does that mean? You're going to eat a shiznit sandwich. This is all proverbial. God is trying to show you something. What are you going to eat? Now, he said he was going to bring you into a land with milk and honey and good food, and the food will be good for your body if you kept the commandments. But if you break them commandments, you're going to eat a shiznit sandwich. It means everything that you eat will be essentially defiled. You're not going to die if you eat if you eat clean foods. You're not going to die the death of those who gorge themselves on unclean foods. But it will be very unpleasant. Just the thought of it. You might be eating it and it tastes kind of nice, right? But don't forget it's still a shiznit sandwich you're eating. Like whatever you do, don't forget. You ever see a dog eating a pamper? That's the best thing you find all day. And it's eating that and it's loving that. And it's munching that. And it's like, You give it some food, it ain't want that. It want that pamper. Because in its mind, the pamper tastes better than anything you could ever throw it. So mentally, God was preparing you to show you that in this land of your captivity, all of the things that you're eating, it might taste good. Understand what you're eating. It's still defiled. It's still not actually something that is pleasant. Right? It's a lesser punishment, if you ask me. Okay, give me the book of, jump down to verse 17. I want to highlight this verse. Verse 17.
From the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, verse 17. That they may want bread and water.
So you're going to long for real bread and real water and real food. But you're going to realize it's just all chemical based. All Esau putting all these chemicals in there. You're going to long for it. Read on.
And be stoned one with another and consume away for their iniquity.
So you're going to be astonished. Right? But here's the part that I want you to focus on. It says, consume away for your what? Iniquity. So why are you eating defiled bread in this captivity? Because of your iniquity. Your forefathers sinned. They broke the law. They didn't keep the commandments. That's why you're here. Started breaking commandments. Now we here. That's essentially where we at. All right? So in your coming back to the law, never forget why you got here, for breaking the law. So don't go back to breaking the law. It may be a little uncomfortable, all right, sisters. If you have husbands and you're preparing meals for them, it might taste savory and nice. Understand, a certain level of it you cannot control, because Esau in these factories have subjected these foods to chemicals. It's just part of the territory, all right? But still make good decisions for your family. Still give them wholehearted meals of good substances, all right? Let's get the Apocrypha, the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37 and verse 29. Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37 and verse 29, or the book of Sirach in the King James Holy Bible Apocrypha. We're going to the chapter 37 of Ecclesiasticus and starting from verse 29.
Reading from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37 and verse 29. Be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy.
Unsatiable.
Unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meat.
What does it mean, don't be unsatiable? What does that mean? It means don't be not satisfied. There's some people who have an insatiable or unsatiable thing where they just cannot be satisfied. So, but it says not to be unsatisfied in any what? Dainty thing or too greedy upon meats. Right? So there's some people, they eat their favorite food and they want to eat more of it and more of it and more of it and more of it. Look what's going to happen to you. Read on, verse 30.
Verse 30.
Come on.
For excess of meat bringeth sickness.
Excess of meat brings sickness. Sickness. Some of y'all eat way too much meat. Let me just say that right now. You eat meat, sometimes you got to go without meat. Sometimes you got to go meatless. Sometimes you got to go vegan for a while. Sometimes it's good to just not eat meat at all. But you have to have a good what? Balance. You understand that, Brother Daniel? Good balance. You can't eat meat. If your diet primarily consists of more meat than anything else, what do you think will happen to you? Your arteries are going to get hardened and thickened with plaque, right? Plus, as we just explained earlier, the meat industry has been infiltrated by Esau. So you're eating more chemicals than anything else. It says when it comes to meats, excess of meats is going to bring sickness. I remember one brethren of mine, listen, he don't feel good if his deep freeze ain't filled to the brim with mutton and chicken and lamb and olive. And listen, on his plate, he wants the mutton more than the rice. He wants a little small dot of rice. The rest is just mutton, chicken. And this brother, right, Colonel, he wants multiple types of meat kind on his plate, you know. He's not satisfied with just the mutton alone. He wants the mutton over here, the fish here, the chicken here. Right? And the goat, some goat over here. And a little piece of rice like this over here. You give him a little bush. May want a bush. I ain't want no bush. That's his thing. He don't want a bush on his plate. Meaning no salad, no veggies. Well, guess what happened to him? He had to go to the hospital because his appendix burst. Ooh. His appendix burst and it was leaking fluid into his system. And now he has some disease, what they call it. Is it Crohn's disease? I'm not sure what it is. I don't remember. Right? But, he's not here. But it says excess of meats, it brings sickness. So for those of y'all that really love you, and this thing in Israel, I don't know where we get it from. You go on the internet, oh, I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. Y'all better stop with that foolishness. I'm a foodie. Eat to live, don't live to eat. There's people who they gorge themselves. I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie. I love food, see? Greed. That's a sin for those of you who don't know. Well, man, so greedy. I just like food. Yeah, you love food so much that you eating. And let me say this. Sidebar. Grab me this scripture, Colonel, right? Where he mentions the bodily exercise. Right? 1 Timothy 4:8. Just give me 1 Timothy 4:8. A lot of big backism going on in Israel. Right? And no one is stopping to... And listen, you need friends who are going to tell you. Listen to me, brothers and sisters. You need friends who are going to be real with you, straight up with you, and slap you with the truth. You don't want nobody comforting you with no lie. You need someone to tell you the truth. Now, today in America, everyone is being censored. Everyone is being canceled for being real. Now, I don't say you have to be rude. You can be real without being rude. Let people know the truth. Let people know you're concerned about them. A real friend lets you know the truth. All right? I'm not saying say it to them in an unscrupulous way. No. I'm saying tell them the truth. Let them know you're concerned about them. Read that for me.
From the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. For bodily exercise profiteth little.
So it profiteth little, but it does profit. Compared to this, read on, compared to what?
But godliness is profitable unto all things.
Good. So godliness is profitable unto all things. But understand this. Exercise does profit you, but it doesn't profit you over godliness. So for the brothers that come into the truth, who put exercise over the keeping of the commandments and being righteous, you're off. Does bodily exercise profit? It does. But you have to have what? A balance. And let me say this, Brother Daniel, if you have a friend and they're not telling you the truth, they're not your real friend. A real friend going to tell you, bro, I notice the belly can getting a little, out there. You need to hit the gym. You need to. What you been eating lately? You've been going in on the snacks lately? Well, good balance. Balance that out. Hit the gym. Sisters, you got to be your sister's keep. You got to. If you realize your sister back getting a little too big, you have to let it. Sis, please do something. I know you probably have children. See what you could do in the morning. Just do a little exercise in the morning. It's not going to hurt. A little couple sit-ups here, it's going to profit you. But don't put that over being a righteous sister. All right? So you have to be real with each other. Okay? Give me the book of... Go back to Ecclesiasticus. All right? So it says excess of meats, it brings sickness. All right? I know many people that end up in the hospital for cardiovascular disease, liver disease, gout, you name it, heart disease. Right? Heart attacks. Your arteries hardening with plaque because you eat too much meat. All right? It says it brings sickness. Come on.
And surfeiting will turn into cola.
What's surfeiting? Who knows what surfeiting is? Like when you have a big spread of food and you're like, I can garmentize all of this. That's surfeiting. Y'all get the point? There's people who would literally, you would see them cooking a big meal. And you go by them, oh, who are you cooking all of this for? Me. To eat like throughout the week? No. I'm going to eat it soon as it done cook. I'm going to eat it right now. Surfeiting. Overeating. Being greedy. Listen, soldier. I saw this guy on Facebook. His plate literally looked like a mountain. It's like this. And he stayed there on camera and eat the whole thing. A little skinny African man. But he belly out here. He got a big punch out here. That's surfeiting. Who's seen the mukbang videos? Where they have a whole spread and they just put the mic there and you're hearing all the things that they're eating. That's surfeiting. It says that will bring you sickness. That will send you to the hospital. You understand that? Good. It says surfeiting will turn into cola. Cola means sickness, getting sick. And whoever noticed, even if it comes to your favorite food, you eat too much of it, how you start to feel afterwards? You start to feel sick. There's certain foods that I like to eat. If I eat 2 of it, I start to feel weird and nauseous. I could only eat 1 of it. 1. The moment you eat 2, but people tend to trick their own brain. Oh, I'm going to eat 2. Nah, man, I feel all right. Let me eat 3. Nah, man, I feel good. You're going to get sick. All right? Give me the next verse, verse 31.
Verse 31. By surfeiting have many perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life.
You prolong your life if you don't be greedy. Prolong your life if you don't overeat. Those who talking about, I'm a foodie. That's why, and a lot of sisters, and I'm seeing it very much so on Instagram, a lot of pretty faces with these young ladies, 25 and under, but nobody got more bang belly than some of these young ladies today. Their belly bang! Now, when you read the book of Isaiah, it says God made the women of Israel with an internal girdle. Do you know that, Soldier Kabar? Like he made the women of Israel so shapely, so comely, that they had a natural shape to them. God said he would take away that from them, their long hair and their pretty nice bodies. And today, our sisters, under 25, your belly ain't supposed to be bang out. You're not exercising. You're not getting fit. No, I know. It feels like you're being body shamed because that's a new term now. Why are you body shaming me? Don't body shame me. Some people need to be body shamed so that they could get enough motivation to actually do some exercising. And you don't need a whole gym, you know. Sometimes you could just stay home and you could just do a little movement. Any movement is better than no movement. Do something. Don't just stay there and let the pounds pack on and talk about, oof, I really let myself go. Yeah, you did. I really let myself go. You didn't have anyone around you that could tell you, listen, sis, it's time. It's time to start making better choices. Because you spend so much time fixing up your face and putting on the makeup and the concealer and the contouring your nose and all these different things. You're making sure your face look absolutely crisp. As I said, what? A face beat? Face beat. But if your face beat and your belly bang, that's a false balance. You cannot have your face beat with your belly bangs. And the scriptures also talk about even married women. Keep her upkeep. It says there's no thing that husbands like to see more than a woman who keeps herself looking beautiful. So take off the old bonnet the old smelly bonnet that you ain't washing weeks. Fix up yourself, sis. And brothers too, I gotta get on y'all too. Sisters, them don't want you just letting yourself go. You think she wants to see the bare belly? She fed up with seeing the bare belly. She want to see you working out. She want to see you looking chiseled and cut. She want to know that's my man. Ooh, he keeping himself looking good. But now today you got brothers in their 20s. Belly bang, all they're doing, drinking beers on the block, chilling, going on by. Friday again, more beers. Belly bang out. They ain't in shape. And these is young fellas. Back in my day, people started getting like a punch, maybe like 40 and over. Today, to the young sisters, I'm so sorry. This is the generation of men that y'all got to choose from. I'm so sorry. These men out here looking old and run down. And I'm so sorry that this is the ones you got to choose from. You might got a couple brothers here and there that keeping themselves looking, nice and right. But for the majority, sisters, I feel sorry for y'all. These brothers ain't carrying themselves looking good at all. They ain't eating well. They don't exercise at all. And that's what y'all got to choose from. The scriptures show you what you got to do. All right? It says, greediness, many have perished for it. Surfeiting, if you do that, you're not going to prolong your life. 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 23. Sisters, I'm so sorry. That's what y'all got to deal with. These brothers over here making this thing look bad. So, brother, if you're watching this right now, now is the time. Now is the time. Hit that gym. All right? Eat right. 1 Corinthians 10 and 23.
Reading from the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 23.
Come on.
All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify it not.
Okay, so what Paul is saying here, even though something may be lawful for you to eat, it doesn't make sense for you to just overdo and overdo and overdo. In some cases, you may have some things that are lawful you shouldn't eat at all. Even though it's lawful, it's not expedient. The word expedient means wise. It ain't wise for you to touch that thing. It ain't wise for you to eat that thing. It might not be against the law, but you eat that thing, it's going to put you in bad shape. It's a detriment to your health. There's some people, you should not be eating any sugary stuff anymore because your blood sugar level is through the roof. And if you're 30 and under and you got blood sugar problems, you should not be out here surfeiting and eating candy, and you're just making bad decisions, ain't you? Sisters, if you see a brother and he don't have his health in check, it's an indication he makes bad decisions. You could tell he makes bad decisions. I'm not talking about a brother who's older and metabolism has gotten the best. I'm talking about a young brother, because we know metabolism, it slows down once you're over a certain age. I'm talking about brothers who are young and sisters watching them like, I wonder if this might be a good brother to prove. No, he's not. He got to get himself in order first. And for all, let me speak for all men, no matter what age we at, you got to be active. You got to be doing things. If you rest, you rust. Again, if you rest, you rust. So no matter how old you are, you got to get active. You got to do something. All right? No matter how vigorous or not, you got to do something. All right? And for those young brothers who are young right now, you're under 30, you're 30 and under, now is your prime time. Get as in shape and fit as you can now. Because let me tell you something. Once 35 hit, what's that to happen, Colonel? When 35 hit, your metabolism goes what? Down. Everything you eat, it's going to show. Absolutely. When you're 21, you can eat 9 bread. In the summer, your parents come on, where all the bread gone? I eat it. What? And it don't show. Where you gone in your toe? Yeah, it went in your toe. You do that at 35, you come out on the block. Bro, you're going on. When you expect it? When you due? When are you due? Oh, you're watching the belly? Yeah, they call it a one ab. a one pack. It ain't a 6-pack, it's a 1-pack. Brothers, understand that. With men, our metabolism goes down. Get in shape as much as you can in your younger years, so when you get a little bit older, it's not so hard to get back in shape if you need to. You understand that? You could bang out 50 push-ups over 40. Easy, like it's nothing. All right? Easy. Good. Where we at? Good. So all things that may be lawful may not be wise for you to do. So don't feel like, oh, okay, chicken is lawful. I can eat 20 chickens. If you eat 20 chickens back to back, what do you think is going to happen to you? The doctor gonna be outside with this. The one right here? Yeah, okay, yeah. We heard about you. We got the phone call. He was eating 20 chicken in school. Just prepare the emergency room for him one time. We got the call. Don't do that. You're giving the doctors, overtime. All right? Let's talk about the doctors, though. Let's talk about the doctors. Give me Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, in the King James Bible Apocrypha, chapter 38, verse 1. Let's talk about the doctors. Because I know men, gotta hit the men now, Men, we hate what? We hate what? What do we hate? We hate going to the doctor. Read that for me.
Reading from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38 and verse 1.
Come on.
Honor a physician.
Honor a physician. A physician is a doctor. Come on.
With the honor due unto him, for the uses which ye may have of him.
Good.
For the Lord had created him.
The Lord have created him. Understand this. The physicians or the doctors of old or antiquity, right? You give honor to them because the Lord gave them special knowledge that they would pass on to others. Today, doctors selling a course online. Follow me to get my course that you got to pay $29.95. And in there ain't nothing but rubbish or trash. The doctors of old, they used what? Plants, herbs to heal you. They didn't give you chemicals that were a detriment to you. So these men, you would honor them. But the doctors today, what's wrong with them? They're doing it for what? Money. There you go. Read on.
Verse 2. For of the Most High cometh healing, and he shall receive honor of the king.
So healing comes from the Most High. The Most High gives the knowledge to men who are physicians or doctors, and the doctors prescribe the exact plant that you need. You need to take a poultice. Poultice is like an ointment. You need to take you need to seep some of these leaves, right? To build back up your blood count. Or if you get a disease or ailment, there's certain leaves. You boil it, you drink it, you're better in the morning. Some of y'all grandmothers knew exactly which bush to pick. You just see granny going out in the backyard. You don't know what she picking. You're a little tiny tot. You just see her pick two of this, one of this. She'll bring it back. She wash it off. She put it in the pot. She boil that thing. You could be feeling like you're going to die. Right? Granny said, don't worry. She rubbed you down with the Vicks. Right? She said, drink that. You drink. It's bitter. Drink it. You start to feel better that instant. By the time next morning, you're outside running around again. As if you were never sick. These things were passed down from the men and women of old, but they came from the doctors that would pass down this information. The Lord, the healing comes from the Lord. Honor the physician. So these were the men that you would honor because they would pass down information. Today, that information is hidden. It's almost like you got to go to the right person. Is there a Colonel? Is there a herbalist in Nevis that people go to? They're still there? Okay, and I know there's a couple herbalists here as well. They're not so popular though, right? But this is information that was passed down. All right? Read on. Verse 3.
Verse 3. The skill of the physician shall lift up his head. And in the sight of great men, he shall be in admiration.
Not admiration. When people get sick, this doctor knows what to give them in the form of herbs and plants to heal them. Read on.
Verse 4. The Lord had created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them.
If you're wise, if you're someone of substance, spiritual substance, you will not abhor or hate the things that come from the earth. Now, if you're someone who always sick, everything that's going around, you always catch it, you're easy to catch things, pay attention to this verse. Don't think it's a thing over the pharmaceutical counter that will heal you. There's people who are like, why? As soon as I get sick, I got to go chuck down some tablets or chuck down some antibiotics. It says, if you're wise, you will look to the earth. The earth has exactly what you need to heal you. Read on.
Verse 5. Was not the Verse 5. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that the virtue thereof might be known?
Read on.
And he had given men skill, that he might be honored in his marvelous work.
The Lord gave men skill. He gave men the knowledge to know which plant heals what. He gave men skill to know exactly which herb, right? Which plant, which tree solves this ailment. He gave men that knowledge. And that knowledge used to be passed down. Now, it's almost like everyone runs where? Soldier Gabar. When they get sick, everyone runs go where? Pharmacy, right? But you need to go to the pharmacy, the real pharmacy, right? F-A-R-M. Read on.
Verse 7. With such doth he heal men and take away their pains.
Good. So your pains can get taken away, right? When the doctor prescribes the right plant or herb for you to take. If there are no such doctors around today or they're hard to find, you need to get in contact with someone who has an extensive knowledge of herbs and plants that you can. Now, there's a guy, I don't know what island he's in, a man by the name of Patrick Delves. If you've seen him on the internet, you've seen him, Colonel? Patrick Delves. I think he's in either St. Vincent, one of the French islands. It's either Dominique or St. Vincent. But he absolutely, if you look him up on Facebook, he's right here in the Caribbean. He creates all of these herbal remedies, and they work. People have went on his page, given him honor, given him his accolades, because whatever he prescribed, it worked. And it doesn't matter what the ailment you have. Name an ailment, he's cured it. Now, Dr. Sebi, before he died, they arrested him. And they said because he does not have a medical degree, he's not allowed to heal people. Imagine that. The pharmaceutical industry came against him to say, even though there's people you've healed, we are hereby charging you with medical malpractice because you've healed people. But they ain't brand it like that. They said because you've healed people without going through our channels. So therefore, we find you guilty. And they had him in jail before he died. Absolutely. Where people used to go to the Honduras, take a plane trip, travel down there, right? And they will come back on their regimen feeling better than they was before. And doesn't matter what it was. It could be a STD. It could be cancer. It could be HIV, AIDS. It don't matter what it was. People were getting healed. All the way from in the late 90s. It's just that his notoriety got caught on around the 2010s, around there. People started saying, wait, you're going by who? Yeah, Dr. Sebi. People have been going there for years, but then when the popularity and the fame started rising and his videos started surfacing on YouTube about what to take, and he's a Caribbean man from the Honduras. They had a rapper, Left Eye, who was part of TLC, right? Before she died, she went down to the Honduras, but it just so happened that the Lord would have it that she ended up in a, I don't know if it's a plane crash or a car crash, one of the two. But she didn't make it back from the Honduras. She went down there to get healed at the Ushua healing center that Dr. Sebi had down there. And Dr. Sebi had, guess what? Go on his videos. He would tell you he never went to medical school. This information was passed down based off of his family members passing it down to him and him doing his research as well. He could tell you what plants are what you call hybrids. Carrot is a hybrid. Carrot is not a natural thing that you're going to see growing in the Bible. Those are a combination of two bulbous plants that they put together. Two types of yams that they put together to create carrot. It's not natural. There's certain herbs as well that you might think is natural, but they are hybrid. Like certain, what's it? Is it spearmint? Spearmint, I think, is a hybrid. They say hybrids are harmful to the body. eat things that grow from the Bible. Those are original plants. You get the point? He had an extensive knowledge. So y'all should check him out whenever you get a chance. Dr. Sabi. All right? His son still carries on the Research Institute. And you could buy many of the products online as well. All right? But still, be careful from everyone who's selling something online. Be careful. All right? Be careful. Give me verse... What verse was that? Give me verse 8.
Verse 8. Of such does the apothecary make confection.
Oh, good. Apothecary means pharmacist. So he makes a confection. In other words, a concoction. Read on.
And of his works there is no end. And from him is peace all over the earth.
Peace all over the earth, because the pharmacists of old really used to heal you for real. Verse 9.
My son, in thy sickness be not negligent.
So I want to make this point. In your sickness, don't be negligent. Now, everyone here gets sick, right? At some point throughout the year on that, right? Now, the Lord is showing you something. Don't be negligent when you get sick. Watch this.
But pray unto the Lord, and he will make thee whole.
Pray unto the Lord, for he will make you whole. Now, why is it saying pray unto the Lord in your sickness? Because when you get sick, it's a direct what? It's a judgment from the Lord you're receiving. But the thing is, when you're sick, are you sure what the judgment is? No. All you know is, I feel sick, see? I want to get better. All you're thinking of is, I need to get better. I need to get better. But it says, don't be negligent in your sickness. In other words, be cognizant in your sickness whenever you feel sick. Whenever I'm not feeling myself, this is what I do. Say to the Lord, obviously, Lord, you have me feeling this way because there's something that I'm off on or in or from it could be from the past, current. And I ask him, and he always shows it to me. So don't be negligent as well. When you get sick, inquire of the Lord. Pray to the Lord. He will show you. And when he shows you, repent in that moment. Say, Lord, I'm not going to do it again. And it says in that verse, it says what? And he will make you what? He will make you what? Whole. But in order for him to make you whole, you got to what? Acknowledge your sin. Like, yo, Father, I went off. But let me acknowledge that. What verse you at? 9. Okay. Jump down to verse 15. Just to get the point. Verse 15. No, it's there. It's should be right there. Verse 15.
Reading from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38 and verse 15. He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician.
He that sins before his maker, let him fall into the hands of the doctor.
Physician.
The doctor or the physician. So anytime you're not feeling well, you got to go to the doctor. It's as a direct result of what? Sin. But it's for you to acknowledge what's sin. Don't be like, well, God just putting me through this for nothing. No. He puts you in the hands of the physician because of sin. Don't be pompous and arrogant. Well, I ain't sinning. God just put me here because he wants to teach me a lesson. Yeah, he does. That you're sinning. Acknowledge your sin. Repent from it. Let the Lord hear you. Let him make you whole. All right? So, we're going to end it there today. All right? Short little sweet class. All praises to the Most High. All right? So, we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us on today's class. Be sure to give your alms and your contributions. The link is in the description below. whether you're overseas or you're local, the MoBanking information is there, and the PayPal information is there. And remember, the scripture said there's no good thing that comes to anyone who does not give alms. So if you want the Most High to bless you in whatever your endeavors are, you got to be encouraging the works of the Lord by giving your alms, giving your contributions to the work of the Lord. All praises. So we want to thank you for joining us. Continue enjoying the rest of your Sabbath day. All praises to the Most High, and shalom. If you have any questions, you could, always send us a message. We'll answer it. All right? Yeah, go ahead.